Hello, this is Bruce Green of Green & Moorhead Engineering with BuilderHMI 2.3. So in the second video on customization of your operator screens, we're not going to be talking about the screen at all or the controls or anything like that. Before you add custom controls, you're going to need to be able to connect your custom data from the PMAC to the HMI. And we do that in Machine View. As you see, I'm logged in as a technician so that I have access to Machine View. So as I said before several times, Machine View is a hierarchy of data that is coordinated between the PMAC and the host PC. And in order to customize the main screen and put your own controls on the screen, you're going to need your own data as well. Well, here we have an example called My Object, and then it has a single device member called My Member. The device member is synced to PMAC variable P9000, and it's updated at 250 milliseconds. As you can see, we can go ahead and change it from Machine View. And of course, when we add custom controls to the screen, we're going to be able to change it, for example, at a button click or monitor it in a display. But let's see how we add that. So every project has a file called machine.xml, and it's a very simple XML format for adding objects and device members to Machine View. You can see here, and my favorite way of working with this file is simply editing it directly. This is a live editor, but in addition we have a wizard which I'm about to show you. So here are your objects. There's an object called My Object. It's got a description so that when the project loads in, this object is going to be created. It's as simple as that. Here is a double, and I'm going to show you there are different flavors of device members that all encapsulate a different type of data. We're going to see that in a moment. Called My Object, My Member. Here's your P9000, and here's your 250 millisecond update rate. We've also got a display format and a description. So you can, for example, if I was going to add 10 more of these things, I would absolutely do it by copying and pasting right here in this editor. However, in addition, we have a little wizard, and actually I wanted to show you, I'm going to go back. Wanted to show you the object. So you can add objects, change their order and the whole bit. And objects are pretty simple. All it is, it's like a folder in Windows, but it's in Machine View. And all it is literally is a name, a description, and then you could also put an object under another object and have nesting. So it's as simple as that. We can add more here. Then here's the members, and the nicest thing about the wizard is this. You don't have to have all these little keywords memorized. So the first group here are device members, and that means that they're backed by a PMAC variable. The ones further down are regular members, which they're not backed by a PMAC variable, but they're also going to be situations where you want a piece of data that only lives on the PC. It doesn't need to actually coordinate with the PMAC. So that's what these are for. And as you can see, you've got your choice of a floating point, an integer, a Boolean, and a string. The string is of not very useful. You could hold a piece of data like the PMAC version or something like that. A few pieces of PMAC data would be strings and not numbers. But all of these would be backed by a PQ or M variable, And from the PC side, for example, the Boolean is only going to be true if it's non-zero and false if it's zero. The integer is just not, you're not going to see the floating point part. So the F device double is the most common, I would say. You get to specify your owner object, like putting in a folder. You get your name. So a variable would be read-write. You could write it from the PC. You could change it on the PMAC. Either way, it's going to be bidirectionally synchronized. A status style device member is for a piece of data that is only changed on the PMAC, and all we're doing on the PC is reading it. An example would be, axis position. We're reading it, writing it is not meaningful. So there's status. Then setting is persistent. So typically you're going to be setting it on the PC, but not always. But the key thing is when your application shuts down, the value is going to be stored at shutdown on the PC in a file, and it's going to be restored when you restart. So there you go, a variable status setting. Command is the same as a variable, except you just get a special little icon in machine view, a little lightning bolt icon. So there it is. Again, the getter, you specify a PQ or M variable. Your update interval. The key as far as the update interval is set it to 0 if the value of this device member is only going to be changed on the PC. If the PMAC is only going to be making use of the value and never changing it, there's no reason to waste time communication bandwidth polling this thing. So if the variable is only going to be changed on the PC, set it to 0 here so that it won't poll. So min value, max value, display format. The display format is using C# convention. So if there are many ways you can format this data, go ahead and do a little research into C# for that. So here, there's the wizard. So again, you can add this data using the wizard. You can add this data directly in here, editing this file, or you could edit machine.xml in your favorite editor outside when BuilderHMI is not running. So real simple. The other thing that I wanted to show you, however, is that there is a completely separate but equivalent way of adding objects and members to machine view. This is a little more advanced. We're going to be covering Visual Studio external assemblies in future videos. But I did want to introduce the fact that you also have the opportunity to create device members in C# and load them in at startup as well. And they would be exactly the same thing during runtime. These are two completely equivalent methods. So here we have some C# code that we're looking at in Visual Studio. We have a public class called myObject. In the constructor, we are declaring a machine view object here. We are getting a reference to the controller, which is of course the PMAC. We are creating a device double. Same thing. We're calling it myMember. P9000 is the variable, the PMAC variable. 250 milliseconds. We got our description and our display format. So this is exactly the same as what we just did in that XML file. The difference is this is C# code. It is in a project that will produce a DLL. And to instantiate this object at startup and thereby add this stuff to machine view, you would add this line to your project.ini file. All this does is it reaches into examples.dll, your external assembly, and it's going to instantiate a class called myObject, and that constructor is going to create and add these same object and device member to machine view. So the one advantage to this is that there are quite a few other object types and also flags and options and neat stuff that can be done in C#. And you have much more powerful control in C# than you do with that little machine.xml file. And where you learn about all that, there's a set of documents that are distributed with BuilderHMI. These are kind of your higher level ones, how to use BuilderHMI itself. But then the MCF Developer's Guide, Motion Commander Foundation is the framework that all this software is based on, and that guide has an extensive description of machine view and the objects and members and all the different member types. So you're going to find that if you're getting into more advanced things, customization, then C# is going to be the way to go. So that is adding machine view objects and members. That allows you to connect to your own custom data on the PMAC. And then the next video, of course, we're going to be having a lot of fun adding, customizing the screens, adding some controls, some buttons, some display controls, and monitoring that data. So my name is Bruce Green, Green and Moorhead Engineering with BuilderHMI. Thanks for listening.